adventurers! Welcome to Incredibly Indie, where we're showcasing TTRPGs you've probably never heard of. Today, I am here with Kylan, playing The Tension Between Us Has Reached Its Boiling Point by Chivu, who has provided us with a PDF copy of the game for this stream. So thank you so much for that. I'm very excited to be playing this game with Kylan, who we've played, I think the only game we've played together is Yazeba's twice. Two different situations. So excited to be playing something with you and having you on stream for the first time.
Thank you. It's been so long since I've been on stream for like TTRPG content. I'm so rusty, so
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a good time. If anyone in chat is new here, my name is Taylor. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the person who is the producer for Roll for Felicity, also usually like GM if we're playing a GM'd game, but if we're not, I am a player in different games. And I will throw it over to Kylan to introduce herself.
Hi everyone. Oops. My name's Kylan. I use she and Faye pronouns. The only things I really do these days on the internet is tweet a lot. I stream over on my channel, twitch.tv/Kyle with an N. I usually do either Nintendo games or indie games. And I also use my Tumblr sometimes to post solo TTRPGs.
Yes.
So if that's your jam, check that out as well. And yeah, that's what I do these days.
I think I forgot to turn my commands. Yes, okay. I should probably turn on the commands that that I need for my bot. Okay. I think now playing. Yes, okay. All the rest are turned on. Let me get your links in chat then. Oh, the other thing? I was telling Kylan before stream, I was like, I'm feeling like so scattered. I'm not doing, I don't have something that I need. And then Kylan was like, well, we didn't pick our character names. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. And then I also just realized I never started background music. So that's the other thing I need to do. I have no excuse for being all over the place. Kylan had an internet outage, which is why we started a little late. So.
Oh my gosh. A literal act of nature took out my internet last night. And I just now got it fixed. So I am scatterbrained as well.
So this will be good. We'll both just be in character fighting each other and also just not knowing where we are or what we're doing. Okay, so the next thing that I have is, I like to start with an icebreaker question so that, we can kind of get in the vibe of the game and so that anybody in chat, can get to know both of us a little bit better. So for this game, the icebreaker question that I picked was for each of us to describe a time that we've played a PC that has had conflict with another player character or NPC. And I can go first. So I recently played on a stream a Kids on Bikes stream, and it was very fun because we all played teenagers except for one character was a kid, and was like a bully to other kids. And so there was this really fun moment where we decided during setup that my character wrote her own newspaper basically. It was like the conspiracy theorist archetype in Kids on Bikes, but I did more of a journalist basically. So she had this little newspaper that she wrote, and she would write about cryptids, but also just things that were happening in the town. And so she hired the other player, this kid, to deliver the papers. And we'd established that instead of delivering the papers, he was just going to this business that he didn't like and stuffing all the newspapers, filling their mailbox with it. So there was this point, so we established that during when we made our characters. So there was this point in the game where we're trying to find this monster, and I'm can I look around to see if I there's something here, I want to look around and see if I know what it is. And the GM, Paige, who's been on the stream before, she was like, yeah, roll whatever it was, intelligence, I think. And I succeeded, and she was like, yeah, there's some papers floating around here. And I'm thinking oh, what is this of the, I, out of character, have completely forgotten about this thing. And I look at the paper, and she's like, yeah, it's your newspaper. And it's all crumpled up and just blowing around on the beach. And so I got to have this fun thing with this other character where, like, my character was, like, very reasonably upset with him, and it helped his character to, like, basically gain some, like, empathy for other people, where he was like, I didn't think it would hurt her feelings. So it was really fun. It was, like, a tense moment, and then both of our characters kind of let it, like, we weren't actively mad at each other, he just kind of felt bad. And then, like, kind of at the end of the campaign, he, like, came and was like, I promise I'll do a good job. Can you rehire me for this? So it was fun. It was a good conflict. But what about you? What's an example of a time that something like that's happened with you?
Oh, geez. Since you did a player one, I'll also try to pick a player one. But I will say that this was more of a one-sided conflict because my character was kind of oblivious to it. But anyways, so in my current, in one of my current D&D campaigns, I play a, basically a feral child sorcerer warlock who just has no, like, inkling of what the outside world is like, any sort of manners and etiquette. And then one of our other party members is, like, this academically trained wizard who is very, like, proper. So our characters would kind of inadvertently, like, butt heads, I guess. Mm-hmm. More so on his side than on my side, because my character was, like, completely oblivious. But over the course of the campaign, my character started doing, like, small acts of kindness to, like, everyone that they met, and was, like, showing, like, really powerful magic for someone who was not classically trained. So the other character, my character loves trinkets, especially, like, weird cryptic things. So he sat my character down and was like, you know, people like me tend to look down on people like you, but I realized that I was wrong for doing that. So here's a bunch of nice, weird things for you. And it was, like, a really sweet moment.
That's very sweet. I like that. I love the thing that I think is so fun is I feel like there's like an idea sometimes that, like, interplayer conflict is, like, not fun, or, like, you should really avoid it and stuff like that. But I think if both people are on board with it, it can be really fun and can lead to these things that, like, help progress both characters, you know, stories, and can feel, like, really rewarding. Which is why I was really excited to play this game, which is called The Tension Between Us Has Reached Its Boiling Point. And it's by Chivu. It's a 2-player fantasy role-playing game about resolving conflict in a passionate fashion. And like I mentioned earlier, thank you again, Chivu, for providing us with a PDF of this game to play on stream. And if you're watching this and would like to get the game for yourself, you can get it on itch for, I believe, $1. So you definitely should just pick it up. The links are in the chat right now, or if you're watching the VOD later on YouTube, it'll be in the YouTube description. And then, oh, I totally forgot to put another bullet point in here of what I normally do. If you are watching the stream right now and you want to do something to help the stream or to help our characters, there are a couple of different things that you can do. The first thing you can do is if there's a moment during the stream that you're like, oh, this would be really fun on, like, TikTok, or, like, this would be a good clip, but you don't feel like making the clip, you can use !marker in chat, which I will do now just to show how it works. And that will make a marker for me to come back to after the stream is over to make a clip of that moment, which is super helpful for me. Another thing that you can do is we do have some tip incentives. It says $2, $3, or $5, but it's just $5. If you want to affect the game for 500 bits, you can add or subtract tension from our current grievance. That'll make more sense once the game is going. Basically, we have tension levels during each of our grievances that will determine, like, we ask questions of each other, and it'll determine how many of those questions we ask. So you can also tip the cash equivalent at Ko-fi, and that link is in chat right now. And any tips that we get during the stream will go to Kylan. So, you know, you want to send Kylan money, right?
Give me money, please.
And then the last thing that you can do to help the stream, congratulations, you're already doing it, whether you're watching us right now live on Twitch or you're watching the VOD later on YouTube. Really appreciate the support, and we hope that you enjoy what you're about to see. And then the final thing that I will mention is the series that I'm doing, Incredibly Indie. If you are watching this and you're a TTRPG designer who has very few, if any, examples of play for your game, and you'd like for your game to be played on stream, you can submit your game to Incredibly Indie. There is a link to that in chat right now, and then also in the YouTube description later there will be one. So yeah, if you're like, I really want people to see how my game works, but like I can't record a one shot, or I don't like have people to do it, or I don't have a stream, submit it here and maybe I'll play it on stream. So that is everything that I have to go over pre-stream. So we will kick off our game. And I think first we could introduce our characters, since we did like describe or since we did decide already kind of what they look like. We did decide on names for them. And also, like, maybe give a vibe for the general setting. But Kylan, I'll let you introduce your character first if you'd like.
Oh boy. Yes, so my character, her name is Leona. She uses she, her pronouns. So one of the features of this game is you draw a domino to determine your background and class, giving you 2 options to choose between. So the options that I chose based off my domino for background and class was a cook ranger. So my idea for the character is like a monster hunter type character who slays monsters and then cooks up great meals for her friends. And I have 2 options for my look, also based off my background and class. So I have a family knife and a distinguished bow.
Yes. I love that. Do you have any, not to put you on the spot, do you have any idea of, like, what your character looks like, or other things about, like, you know, we know that she has the knife and bow. Any idea of, like, how she dresses, or any other things that you want to add?
I think her attire is very, like, practical, something that she can easily move in, something that helps her, like, camouflage when she's hunting, something she can get messy while she's cooking. I think her hair is, like, tied back out of her face so as not to get in the way. And I think she has, like, really tanned, scarred skin from being out in the wilderness. Oh, and I also have an animal companion.
Yes.
I should probably mention that.
Uh-huh.
And I think I'm gonna go real basic here and say that it's like a tamed wolf.
I really like that.
Maybe like some sort of dire wolf, since we've introduced like monsters into our setting.
Yeah,
so
that's very cool.
Something big and ferocious.
Already I'm loving this because so I can describe my character. So my background in class is I am a shepherd cleric. I carry with me a gnarled cane and a dangerous relic, which I have really, at this point, no idea what the relic is or what it does. We'll determine that, I think, as we go. But I also have, from my shepherd background, a watchful animal companion. And so I was like, oh, what should my animal, like, before you said what yours was, I was thinking, like, oh, what should my animal companion be? Well, I'm a shepherd, maybe I'll just go with a sheep, which is perfect because then you have a wolf. So I really like that a lot. So I think I have this very fluffy sheep. I'm imagining kind of, I guess that's more of a goat. Maybe it's like, since we're doing fantasy, maybe it's like a sheep, but it's kind of like, like a sheep goat hybrid kind of thing, so it's like mountainous, so like how goats can climb very easily. I don't think sheep can can climb mountains very easily, so I think maybe it's like a sheep that has more specialized hooves and is a little more nimble, but still a sheep. And my character is named Claudia and uses she her pronouns. And I think she dresses in very, like, she's very armored. Like, she wears a lot of, like, heavy armor. I think she's pretty, like, big and buff. But I also think her armor is very gaudy. Like, it's like, it's supposed to be for, like, protection, but, like, when she's fighting, she, like, tries to, like, not let anything happen to the armor. Like, she doesn't want it to get dented or damaged. And I think it's, like, it's real armor, but it is gold. Like, it's probably enchanted or something like that. So it's not, like, because obviously gold is, like, a soft metal. That wouldn't be good for armor. So it's real armor, but it's, like, enchanted or plated or something like that to be, like, this burnished, like, very shiny gold. So already our characters have some distinct foils.
I imagine it's like super loud and clanky too.
Yes, yeah, definitely super loud and clanky, super like when it's bright out, it's like, I can imagine there's times when Leona is like, okay, we need to like hide in this grass, and then it's like a wide shot and you can just see like the gold armor like just like shining so brightly in the middle of the day, very hard to hide. I think that's everything I need to say for my character. Oh, I think she has, like, dark, like, very curly hair that's, like, usually up in, like, a ponytail, but has, like, some, like, face-framing ringlets. And no scars. She if she ever were to get scars, she would be like, okay, well, I have to, like, do some magic to heal this because, you know, this is the moneymaker. Very vain. I've made a very vain character. So the next thing I think that we should do is determine we know we have grievances. But we've yet to determine what specifically these grievances are. And for the benefit of people watching, the way that you determine that is based on our background and class. So for each background and class, there are a few questions that we get to ask each other to determine what these grievances are. I think there's 2 questions per, and we'll pick one from each. Did you have any questions that you were settled on?
Yes. One of mine from my ranger class is, what mark did I hunt before you could?
Ooh, I like that. I think maybe. Okay, I kind of like the so like since my character is a cleric, your character is like kind of a monster hunter. I like the idea that maybe and this is like very like coming from like D&D, where it's like we were in some kind of fight and there was like a thing that we were fighting that was like kind of like devilish or demonic in nature. And so I had like my weapon or something could like do maybe something like seal it away. Like I could do something where it's like my weapon has this ability to like seal this thing away or like send it back to its own dimension, whatever. And so like that's what my goal was for the fight. And I like the idea that maybe your character just dispatched of it, because it's kind of like the thing in D&D where like someone else had their turn is before yours, and so you're like, I have this really cool thing I want to do, and then the other person like does the kill and you're like, oh, okay, well now I can't do this. So I like the idea, if it's cool for you, I like the idea that it was some sort of like demon or something that you just kind of like killed like a monster hunter would kill, but I had this idea of like it was going to be something different. It was going to be like transported to another dimension or sealed into a necklace or something like that.
Yeah, maybe that like the way I got rid of it invited some ire from like
oh yeah,
other creatures like it.
Yeah, I like that. That's very cool. Yeah, it's like I was going to, oh yeah, maybe it could be something like I have this idea that like I was gonna give it this like kill it in this way that would protect it. Okay, so maybe I was gonna like seal it into, I do have this like relic, this dangerous relic.
Ooh.
So maybe I was going to like seal it into this relic, and that would like keep other creatures of its type away from us. Like it would be like a warding kind of thing. And then you killed it, and I'm like, great, now all of its family are mad at us. And we don't even have its soul sealed into my relic. That's super fun. Okay, I can go next and ask a question. My cleric ones are like really heavy. Okay, let me look at my shepherd ones. Okay, I like this one. So one of my shepherd questions is, how did you scare away my flock?
So I guess a question I would ask of you first is, what do you consider to be your flock? Is it like a literal flock of animals? Is it like a flock of followers?
Oh, I like that it's a flock of followers. That would be fun. I'm open to either, but I think a flock of followers could be fun.
So how did I scare them away? Is that the question?
How did you scare away my flock?
Ooh. Maybe I I don't know if we want to tie these things together, so I'm spitballing. Maybe after I dispatched this demon or whatever we took out, I made it, because I'm a cook and I like to harvest my resources. Maybe I made it into some sort of dish that your followers found to be sacrilegious.
That's so funny. I really love that. I'm playing Cult of the Lamb on stream right now. Like lately I've been playing it, and that's so funny because it is very like, in Cult of the Lamb you obviously have the followers, and then you can like make follower meat meals, and you can have things that they don't like it or they do like it. So I'm down for that. You killed this demon, and then you were like, all right, time to make it into soup. That's really fun. Okay, cool. And yeah, no, that scared my flock away. So I think then, because one of the things that I have is an undying follower. So I think that's the only member of my flock who's left, is this this person who, for some reason, that demon soup didn't scare them away, and they stuck with me. Cool. Do you have another question that you want to ask?
Yeah. Ooh, these are both good. From the cook background.
Ooh, those are both good.
Maybe I'll go with, what meal have we not shared?
I like that. Okay, let me think. What meal have we not shared? I think since you're a cook, I kind of like the idea that maybe there was a time when like all of our party was like traveling together, and there was some kind of okay. I think maybe it's this. So we were all traveling together. We were like near a town or something like that. And because I really like, as a person, I like to cook. And so like, even for like my birthday or something, like I'll cook a meal for people. And so I like the idea of like your character's a cook, that you were like, it's my birthday, I'm going to make this really special meal. That's like my favorite thing. We're in this region that like has this like ingredient that like I can use for this. And so our whole party was supposed to eat this birthday feast for you together. And I don't think I just blew it off, but however it went down, maybe you perceived it that way. Like maybe I had something where it's like something came up, but it like seemed like a weak excuse. I'm trying to think of what more specific it could be. Like, what would I have been doing? Oh, maybe something like my sheep was like missing. like my sheep like kind of wandered off. And so I was like really upset about it and really like invested in like going and finding my sheep. And you were kind of like, that's like an excuse. She didn't really have her sheep missing. She just didn't really care about my birthday. So maybe something like that. Is it like a meal that we have not shared?
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you? I'm kind of putting a lot of, like, on your character with that, of like you thinking like a certain thing, so you can feel free to tweak it.
No, I like that. I like the idea that you blew off something that was special to me and that I put a lot of work into.
Yeah. I think that's good. Okay, that just leaves my 2 cleric questions. I think I'm gonna do, how has my god warned me of you?
How has my god warned of you? Okay, I'm gonna answer your question with another question. Can you tell me more about your god?
Yeah, I like the idea that it's, like a god associated with, like, sun and the harvest, which is why I keep my armor so, like, shiny and bright, 'cause it's like, oh, I worship, like, the sun god. So, yeah, I think it's, like, the god, maybe we'll say, like, the god of, like, the summer sun, specifically, is the god that I worship. And maybe I'll try to figure out a name.
What if, and I don't know if this seems like too, like, OP, I guess, for lack of a better word. Maybe Leona was, like, chosen by, like, this other deity, like a deity of the night, to be like their champion. Maybe she doesn't even know it yet. I think it would be interesting if she doesn't know that.
I like that, yeah, and I like won't tell you because I don't want you to know. Like, I don't want you to know that you're chosen. I really like that a lot. Okay, I think my god's name is Cyrus. I'll put that in our doc. I'll do cleric of Cyrus. I also need to think of a name for my animal companion, which I have not yet thought of.
Oh, me neither.
Names are so hard. Okay, so that's our 4 grievances determined. The next thing that we can do is, I think it says something like, after answering each question, decide with the other player on a word to represent a grievance. And then we'll put those in our shared doc. So our grievances are, in my perception, you stole a kill from me. And then a second but related grievance is that you cooked that kill into some kind of dish. I keep saying soup, but it doesn't have to be soup. That's just in my mind. And then our third grievance is that I missed your birthday dinner. And then our fourth grievance is that you have been chosen. My god, Cyrus has told me that you have been chosen by the, like a god related to, like, night or darkness. So... Oh, I was like, where's the grievances part? It's right at the top.
Yeah.
So I think one definitely could just be shortened to a birthday dinner. I guess that's not one word. Oh wait, that's technically the third grievance. I'll put it over here. Birthday meal. We'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
And then... for the last one, it could just be chosen.
I was feeling that too.
Okay, cool. Do you have ideas for the for the demon related ones?
I like the second one just being called soup.
I do like that one. And then I guess the first one could just be demon.
Yeah.
Demon, soup, birthday meal chosen. those are our those are our grievances with each other. So, okay, so the next thing that we do, this will determine the tension. I think oh, actually we can select a grievance we want to resolve first. So we don't have to do them in this order. Is there one that you are leaning towards wanting to resolve first?
Um, to me, I think maybe like a lower stakes one, like maybe birthday meal could be a good first start, or maybe soup. I'm kind of leaning towards birthday meal
Yeah,
though.
let's do birthday meal. That sounds good. Okay. So we will both flip tiles over one by one until we find any tile that would connect our background and class tile. So for the benefit of people watching the stream who can't see what tiles we have Kylan's is Kylan's is a 5 and a 6, mine is a 3 and a 5. So we'll want a domino that has either a 5 and a 3, 2 5s, a 6 and a 3, or a 6 and a 5. So I will flip over one first, and it is 2 blanks.
So that is 1 to our total.
So that's 1 to our total.
A blank and a 5 that connects both of ours, right? We both have 5s.
Yeah, but I think it has to be. I think because the one side is blank, it wouldn't. Because I think it would have to be a 5 and a 5. I can't remember how blanks work in dominoes. Are blanks wild cards?
You know what? We could keep pulling.
Yeah, let's keep pulling. I think sometimes they are considered wilds, but I don't know. Oh, it's my turn to pull. Wow, a lot of blanks. Melanie's saying I think blanks are wild. So we could technically... Why are so many blanks? Okay, if you pull this next one and it's also a blank, then maybe we should just do it.
Okay. 1 and a 5.
Okay, that does not connect. But now I know that they're not all blanks, so we'll keep going. For this being something that we were like, oh, this will be kind of a low stakes one.
We're really
ramping up. I just pulled a 4 and a 4, so that does not connect.
Okay. 5 and a 5. There we go.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll put this one. Oh wait, I think, let me see if I can, oh yeah. I can turn it that way.
Ooh.
This doesn't really matter that much, but just for that. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total that we pulled for this. Which means that this is a bitter grievance. We'll ask 3 questions. And let's see. I don't think it has a method for who pitches a method first. But since it's a grievance related to I think you're the one who asked the question for the grievance. I think you could go first with pitching a method of resolving it if you'd like.
I kind of like the idea of maybe either a bargain or a contest. My first thought was contest, but I think bargain might work too.
Yeah, I like contest as a first one because I feel like bargain is almost too like we want to work it out in like a reasonable way. Like making a bargain with someone is like, okay, we can like connect on this. Whereas a contest is very like, no, one of us is right. One of us is right, one of us is wrong. Whoever wins this gets to be right about it. So I like contest for this one, if you're down for that.
Yeah.
Where do you think the confrontation takes place? There's some locations listed. It also says we can decide on like, our own our own location if none of these ring true.
Okay. This might be kind of silly, but I'm jumping to Riverbed,
Okay.
and here's why. What if the dinner I made was like this really nice like fish meal?
Oh, yeah.
And maybe something that ties back to that, whether it's like a fishing contest or like
A fishing
uh
contest is so fun. I like the idea of a fishing contest at a riverbed. I think that's super fun. I think okay, so we've decided on a challenge that will satisfy at least one of our egos. And we get to establish who was ready to challenge and what tools each character uses. I feel like this would probably be Leona who pitched the idea of the contest because fishing seems more up her alley than it does Claudia's.
Mhm.
What do you think?
I was definitely kind of feeling like since Leona feels like she has been slighted, this would be something that she would pitch.
I like that a lot. What tools do you think Leona is using for the fishing competition?
Hmm. I was kind of jumping to maybe something more like active and fast paced, but I feel like it would be in her nature to be patient enough to use just your standard fishing pole.
I like that a lot. This is feeling very tortoise on the hare. Because I think Claudia is like a fishing pole and is like, obviously, I'm going to use magic. So I think it's almost like the thing of what she's trying to do is like in Tears of the Kingdom, I've seen people make these like boats that have like a little electrical thing on the front, and then they'll just drive these boats around and like all the fish will get shocked and go into the boat. So I'm imagining it's like something like that where Claudia's like, well, I'm gonna like just send a electric shock through the water, and then I'll get all the fish, and I'll win. So I think that's her plan. I don't know. Who knows if it'll work or not. And I think since you pitched contest, I think I get to ask the first question, and we ask. Oh my gosh, I'm losing track of how many questions. 3 questions? Yes, 3 questions for this bidder. So we'll go back and forth. Ooh. Okay. Ooh, I really want this to be the thing, but it feels like too early to start off with this question. So, I think I'll ask this. How do you take the lead?
Hmm. So I think it's like maybe to establish the parameters of our contest.
Mm.
Maybe we're doing something like not too complicated. Maybe it's like who can catch the biggest fish for dinner.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I think because Leona is like a hunter,
Mm-hmm.
this is considered a form of hunting.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she knows like this secret spot in this riverbed
Yeah.
where using like her knowledge of nature, she knows, okay, based off like the plants in this area, the type of bugs that are congregating here, I know that X type of fish will be here and they tend to be bigger. So she's being really like methodical about it and is really like planning out like this is how I will catch my prey.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, I think Claudia was like expecting for the contest to be who can catch the most fish. And so when Leona sets that parameter of like, no, 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 it's not the most fish, it's the biggest, best fish for dinner. Already, Claudia's kind of well, I'm not gonna turn that down because I don't want to look weak, but I am a little bit already like off kilter because what I was planning to do was just kill a bunch of fish. So my plan doesn't work quite as well for that. So I think I'm kind of like watching Leona like go off and like how far away like the secret fishing spot, do you think it's like within visibility of Claudia, or do you think it's like Leona just kind of wanders away like out of eye shot?
I think it would be more frustrating for Claudia if it was within eye shot.
Yes, I just see you like very calmly go over and start like, getting everything just like perfect. And then I'm just kind of like, I like stomp away in the other direction, but like I'm stomping so it's like scaring the fish away, but I don't really know anything about fishing, so I don't know. And I think I just like kind of like I'm rolling my eyes and huffing and puffing and just like very like irritated about this. Like I'm acting like I'm so put upon, but like I'm like, well, I'm gonna win this contest, so. Cool. I think that's your question then next.
Okay, I think the one I'm landing on is what fuels your passion to win.
Ooh. What fuels my passion to win? Okay, so this is that I missed your birthday. We're doing a contest to see if I was in the right for missing your birthday. I think what fuels my passion to win is that I'm embarrassed that I missed your birthday. I think, and I think I really did lose my sheep. So I don't think I'm, like, lying about that. I think I planned to be there. And I think, like, something... I'm trying to think of something specific. But, like, I think something embarrassing happened when I was trying to get my pet sheep back. And so it's, like, the reason why I was late is because, like, it should have been this easy thing of, like, I just went off to get my sheep. But maybe I, like, fell in a sinkhole or something, and then I had to, like, find my way out, and because I was underground, I didn't have my magic powers because there was no sunlight, and so it, like, was this whole long thing where, like, but then I didn't want for anyone in the party to see me all disheveled and like muddy and stuff like that. So then I stopped and like cleaned myself up. So by the time all of that was done, I fully missed the birthday thing. And what's fueling my passion to win this is I know that I should apologize. I know I should just say, I wasn't blowing you off. Here's what happened. It's embarrassing, but it's embarrassing. So I don't want to, I don't want to tell you. So if I win the contest, it's like, yes, I was telling the truth and I just lost my sheep and nothing else happened. So I think that's what's fueling my passion. Embarrassment. And then I think that's me for the third question, which I think I'll go with this one. It's kind of obvious, but I think the third question will be, how do I lose narrowly?
Okay. How do you lose narrowly? I think the thing I'm trying to decide is like what made it this close.
Yeah, because I was like not doing good. So it is a narrow defeat.
I think it was like one of those things that like maybe you got like a sign from your god. Like maybe a beam of light came down and illuminated the scales on one of this. beautiful fish.
Yeah.
And you were about to be like, okay, I'm gonna shock this bad boy.
Mhm.
But then it also alerted Leona. So instead of going for the fishing pole, she just takes out that distinguished bow
Yes.
and fires it right at the last second before you can uh shock it, claiming her prize.
Dang. Yeah. I think I think I think Claudia just immediately just like puffs up with anger and is like, "That's not fair. That was supposed to be mine."
Uh yeah, I think Leona will just kind of like shrug her shoulders nonchalantly and with like this mischievous look on her face. Will probably be like, should have been quicker on the draw.
I love that. And I think it like fades to like this fish like roasting on a spit, like the classic this big beautiful fish. I love that so much. So I think the next thing that happened, which segues really well into after each grievance, we remove the two background and class tiles and the connecting tile, shuffle the remaining tiles, and then we'll have a short rest. So this meal, I think, can be, well, I guess it doesn't have to be, but it could be the short rest. So we'll take these and put them over here because those are out of the game. These ones I will flip over and shuffle the stack. So, remove the game, connect, each of us draws a new tile. It says to replace their background in class. That doesn't mean we get a new background in class. It just means it replaces their position on the board. To determine what we can do on our short rest. It can't be a double tile. So if it's like 2 6s or something like that, we'll do a different one. And yeah, so I'll draw one and you can draw one. Oh, and I immediately did draw a double tile. So I'll put that to the side. Okay, that's better.
Okay.
So I got a 4 and a 6.
I got a 3 and a 6.
Okay, cool. So we get to choose. Okay, compare your new titles to the table below. Choose one for your character to do between grievances. Describe sights, sound, thoughts, and feelings about what just occurred. Once your 4 grievances have been dealt with. Okay, well, we haven't done that yet. So for the short rest, 3s, you can make an aside. You can describe yourself making a comment to another character or away from all of the other characters. Or for a 6, we can take a walk. Describe the scenery around you and how another character interacts with the scenery. I like taking a walk. I can't think of an aside I would make. And 3 and 4 are both make an aside, so we basically have 2 options. So yeah, I think Claudia will take a walk. Do you know what Leona's gonna do?
Okay, so we can choose separate ones.
I was assuming that, but actually let me reread. Determine what you can do on your short rest. I'm assuming we can do different ones. We could also do the same one. I think it's up to us. It doesn't say specifically.
Okay, I think for mine then I will make an aside.
Cool. Do you have an idea of what the society is, like who you're talking to, what the setting is, etc.?
I think this is around the campfire, and maybe this is while you're taking your walk.
Yeah, I like that.
Because I have my trusty wolf companion with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I am just feeding them pieces of fish, and just kind of talking to them, but I guess out loud at the same time.
Uh-huh.
And it would be something along the lines of, I still feel like that is such a poor excuse. Because if this creature is truly her companion, it would come back to her. Like I know you would come back to me. And I think that she should have trusted her animal to return to her. Um, and then maybe there's like a pause and she's like, but at the same time, I know I would be worried sick about you. Um, and then, she like maybe the wolf companion kind of like looks up and whines. Um, maybe begging for more treats, or maybe it's something more. Maybe the wolf is more intuitive than that.
Yeah.
Um, and she just gives them some scritches on their head and will say, pretty good fisherman though.
I like that. So yeah, meanwhile, while that's happening, Claudia is again just like kind of stomping through the woods. I think she's made an excuse. I don't think we mentioned this on stream yet, but our idea was that these two characters are on a quest that they've been, the rest of their party has been like, go off and resolve things between the two of you, accomplish this thing. So I think Claudia is stomping around. And I think is like maybe before she left said to Leona, like, I'm gonna go commune with my god and see if I can find any answers about where this monster is that we're looking for, and is kind of stomping off, which immediately seems like a lie because it's nighttime, I'm imagining. So it's like, you're god, you're like, it's a sun god, you're not communing with them right
off
now.
Hours right now.
Yeah, it's like normally you do that during the day. But I'm stomping off. And I think it's not like fully nighttime. I think the sun has gone down, but there's still some color in the sky. And I think it's me and my sheep that I still don't have a name for. I think my sheep is going to be named Petunia.
That's cute.
Yeah, so let me write that down so I don't forget. So I think it's just, and I like the idea that I'm also just like talking to Petunia as I'm like stomping around. And I'm just kind of saying like, I just don't know what to do because Leona already doesn't like me, and I can tell that she just doesn't think I can do anything. And I don't want to tell her about, like, I just know she won the fishing competition. I know I should say, hey, here's why I was late for your birthday. I'm really sorry about it. But it's just so embarrassing. I'm like walking. And then I think the sun kind of continues to go down and the moon comes out, which reminds me of this thing of like how you're chosen by like this nighttime god or something like that. And so I just kind of stop and look up at the moon, and I just think, okay, well, maybe I should just tell Leona about what happened. And if she's also chosen, maybe she'll understand. Maybe we have more of a connection than I think. And I think I turn around, like, kind of like, okay, I'm going to go tell Leona about the truth. But when I turn around, I see this huge footprint, like, off, like, kind of, like, not directly behind me, but, like, off to the side, that is the print of this creature that we're chasing. And so I rush back, and I don't apologize about the birthday thing, but I rush back to tell you about, like, this more pressing matter of this creature that we're hunting.
Ooh, yeah, and we will just compartmentalize that for now. We'll unpack that later.
Cool.
Because Leona's very mission-minded too. It's like, yeah, let's go get this thing.
Cool. I like that. So I think that's the short rest. So I think that means that we can move on to our next grievance. I think I mean, because it's my turn to pitch one first. I feel like it makes sense for our grievance to be a common enemy. Decide on another individual to focus our ire upon. Like, that kind of leads into it. If you're down for that.
Absolutely. Um, I guess I'll also ask, what grievance are we working on right now?
Yeah, that is probably important to decide. Um, hmm. I think I'm torn between whether it should be chosen, because if we're about to have this big fight with this enemy, then having like an important conversation would be fun. It would also be fun to have a very unimportant conversation about the soup. So, is there one that you're leaning towards?
Um, you know, I think I'm leaning towards soup, honestly.
I'm always leaning towards soup. I love soup. Okay, so we're addressing the soup that you made that I'm upset about. What location are you thinking of?
Ooh, okay. Let's see. If we are hunting this creature, um, I I like cavern or ancient ruins.
I was thinking those as well. Cavern and ancient ruins. Why not both? Why not a cavern with ancient ruins inside?
No one can stop us.
No one can tell us not to do that. Cool. I like that. All right. I think so. For a common enemy, we establish our prey and their relationship to the party, and how our characters gain retribution. I think this would be a good time to maybe decide a little more about what this creature is that we have been sent out to be on the hunt for. Since you're the monster hunter, do you have any like ideas of like if this is a specific monster that you're thinking of, or if we just want to come up with like attributes of it? I'm fine with either.
I think we could go two separate ways. On one hand, we could like tie it to this, oh, now that we didn't seal this demon and we just killed it, all these other like demonic creatures are after us. Or we could go with something like completely unrelated and have the consequences of our other actions bite us in the butt later.
Yeah. Ooh. I like that. Okay, I have a pitch, which is kind of, again, combining those two things. So, what if this creature that we're hunting that's also kind of stalking us is some kind of like non-demon creature? So we think it's like not related. But at some point during the fight, when we defeat this creature, it's like revealed to be like it's been possessed by this demon, or controlled, or it's like shape-shifted into this thing. So we think this whole time it's like, oh yeah, this is like unrelated to the demon thing. This is some other monster. But during this fight, it's like, oh no, this actually is this is the brother of the demon that got turned into soup.
I like that. I like that maybe it was, I like the idea of being possessed by something and then this other demon like ends the possession before they are taken out.
Yeah. I like that. Okay, so what do we think this monster demon possession thing? Do you have any ideas of like what? I'm just thinking like my brain just keeps going to dragon. It doesn't have to be a dragon, but like that's just what I keep, my brain keeps going to.
Okay, so my brain is going to like something similar but not quite. Because we've chosen like cave ruins, I'm thinking like the Dodongo from like Ocarina of Time.
Yes, I love that.
Something like reptilian,
Yeah.
cave dwelling, something like that.
Yeah, I like that. I'm just looking up the Dodongo so I remember if I can spell it. Dodongo from Zelda. Yes. Yeah, that's very cool. I like that. So, okay, so this reptilian kind of like some of these Dodongos almost look like dinosaur like thing is in these cave ruins, and we don't realize it. We'll realize at some point during the fight that it is actually being possessed by this other demon, right? Is that what you is that what you said?
Yeah, I think it's being possessed by the other demon.
Okay, cool. All right. So that's I think we've determined the things that we're supposed to establish. Oh, we didn't draw. I was like, we're skipping something. We need to draw tiles.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'll draw one. Does not connect.
Should we discard these other ones?
These two will be what we're trying to connect now.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, so that's how it replaces the short rest tile become the new things that we're trying to connect.
Gotcha. Do we keep the double 4 from we were drawing earlier?
We can put that back in, I think. Let me shuffle this. Okay. So I pulled this one. It does not connect to the 2. You can pull one.
All
to
right.
see if it connects. So we've got a 4, 6, a 3, and a 6.
Blank on a 3 does not connect.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. 2 and a 2 does not connect. Actually, I can just put these.
3 and a 3 does not connect.
Okay. Blank and a 6 does not connect.
Ooh, the soup is getting real spicy. 2 and a 4 does not connect.
Dang. 2 and a 5 does not connect. Holy cow, this is getting to be... How many are we at? 7.
Oh boy. 1 and a 2 does not connect.
Blank and a 1. We might have to have it so that blanks count because we're running out of... we're running out of tiles.
2 and a 6.
Dang. 4 and a 4. It doesn't work.
1 and a 5 doesn't work.
This is going to be very grievous indeed. I think we should count this because it's a 4 and a blank. Blanks are technically supposed to be wild.
Okay.
So otherwise, because we're at 13 right now, and
That is the most extreme one, if I remember right. 10
yeah, it's
plus.
10 plus questions, so we may as well count it because we're at the most questions that we can have. This soup the soup grievance is at a level of strife. We have 5 questions to ask each other about this soup. So you get to ask first.
Perfect reminder that if anyone wants to de-escalate the soup conflict,
that's true.
It is within your power to do so.
If you tip $5, you can de-escalate the soup conflict, and Kylan will get $5. So it's really a win-win.
All right. So,
so funny.
I get to choose the first one. How do you feel about setting aside our differences? Let's start with that one.
I think so. I'm imagining that it's like we are coming into this cavern, like, it's like, the next scene, we'll say after, like, I see this big foot, I run footprint, not big foot, this big footprint, I run back to you, we, like, talk about it, and the next scene is, like, we've arrived at this cavern, at these ruins under the cavern, and so we're kind of looking around, we hear, like, kind of this rumbling, and I look over, and you have, what weapon do you think you're starting off using for the fight between your knife versus your bow or some other weapon?
oh, maybe I do also have the broken sword in my
Ooh, yeah.
background. So maybe in like our last fight, um, my sword was maybe we almost got this creature one time. And in that ensuing fight, my sword, like I tried to pierce its armored hide and my sword broke. And
Ooh. Do we think that it would be cool if the other part of the sword is still in the creature? So like you have yeah, and then we
absolutely.
can see like the that's also like kind of it's not Zelda-ish, but how in Zelda it's always like the weak point where it's like you can hit it
Yeah.
here. Cool. So yeah, so you have this broken sword and you're like, kind of keeping an eye out for like this creature. Um and I think I look at you preparing, and you're so competent, and I feel like your character kind of has this like quiet confidence where I feel relieved that we're putting aside our differences for this fight, because I think again it's like this embarrassment thing where it's like I am nursing these grievances because I don't want to admit that I'm wrong. And so we're in this fight and it's like, okay, we can just put them aside. And I realized, I kind of like subconsciously realized that I don't even want to be fighting with you. Like, I'd rather be fighting beside you. But my pride is too much to let that happen. So I think I just feel relieved that for now we're
Oh,
setting aside our
good.
differences.
Yeah, and I think considering the we went with the soup one,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this one is like a one-sided conflict because I think Leona doesn't think she did anything wrong.
Yeah. I like that a lot. um okay, let me see. What is another question? Ooh, okay. So we know that I'm relieved that we're setting aside our differences. My question for you is, will our camaraderie last once this enemy is gone?
Hmm. I'm going to say, and you can, since it concerns your character, you can obviously veto or change parts of it. I think so we probably like work together utilizing this weak point where the sword is embedded to take out this creature. And after doing so, maybe Leona doesn't even notice this demonic presence leaving
Oh no.
this creature or Dodongo like creature.
Yeah.
Um and right away focuses on trying to like harvest its parts, which maybe reminds you of like
Yes.
the whole soup debacle. And you're like, how are you focused on this at a time
Yeah.
like
I
this?
think I literally am like, Leona, did you not? I imagine it's like this thing where like we see maybe I don't know. I like the idea to build on that there's like this demon like it's kind of like ghosty kind of looking spirity kind of things that are like leaving this like creature's body, and I think it would be funny if, because it's a demon and because my character's a cleric, that I have this like it like speaks to me where it's like, I am the great demon prince, and you killed my my duke and brother, and like I'm coming to avenge you. I will send everything in my power after you. And I'm having this vision, but like it's only talking to me. But I don't realize that, and you don't even hear that because it's like
Mm-hmm.
talking to me because it's like against my god or something. And so this thing like happens, and then I look over at you, but I don't realize that it was only talking to me. And so you're like, oh, we can harvest this and we could do this. And I'm just like, Leona, how can you be focused on the parts of this creature at a time like this?
Our quarry has been slain. I don't see what the issue is.
This core was slain, but the demon prince now is gonna come for us and gonna inhabit more creatures and come after us, come after our friends.
Well, then we'll eliminate those as well.
But it could be happening right now. I mean, did you see what happened? Did you hear what it said to us?
I Are you something spoke to you?
This is the soup thing all over again.
What do you mean the soup thing?
This is just like when we fought that other we fought that other demon before, and then I was saying like, oh, its family is gonna come after us, all of this different stuff, and then you just kind of butchered it. You made it into soup. I had that do you remember all those followers that I used to have that would like go out and get me things and polish my armor and all this different stuff? And then you made the soup out of the demon, and then they were all like, this is sacrilegious, you have to denounce Leona. And I said, I don't want to denounce Leona. And they said, well, then we're leaving. And now only Greg is left. Greg is the only follower that I have now.
You don't need those people to sustain you. You can be a competent adventurer on your own right.
I don't need them, but it was nice to have them because now I have to polish my own armor every night.
I think Leona is kind of just like, as she's like shucking off like a piece of this hide, just kind of mutters to herself, it's not even really that protective armor anyways.
I'm just like, I think I start kind of like taking the armor off and like popping out some of the dents and like already starting to fix it. I think you can ask a question if you'd like.
Yeah. Let's see. I kind of like this one, which is like really spicy. I don't know how applicable it'll be, but it's really spicy. Why shouldn't I conspire with them against you?
I like that a lot. Do you think, I guess I'll ask, is this something that Leona is like saying or conveying in some way? Or do you think, like, how do you think, is there a way that you think this like comes up either in my mind or like between us as characters?
Maybe it's something more inadvertent. Maybe it's like one of those things where like, as I'm like ripping into this creature, you see me like ensconced in shadow.
Ooh,
and you are like reminded of
this
this prophecy, and maybe the thought enters your head like,
of like maybe Leona would turn against me. Okay, so why shouldn't I conspire with them against you? So I think, I'm trying to think of how I would answer this, but not necessarily verbally, since it's not like a question that's being asked. So I think I'm trying to convince you. I think I like sit down next to you. You're like working on like butchering this creature. I'm like, kind of fixing up my armor and stuff like that. And I say, okay, I know that you and I don't really get along, and that's fine. We don't have to get along, but other people in our group like me and like you. And so I think we should keep trying to work together at least. We don't have to like each other, but we don't have to, want to hurt each other.
Uh, I think as like this hunting knife like uh gouges this creature and maybe some like, you know, parts of it spill onto the floor. Uh Leona just looks back at you with this bloody tool and is like, "What would give you that idea?"
Uh, Nothing. Just I don't know. I think you're a better ally than an enemy, and we don't have to be friends to be allies.
Perhaps I should make myself a little more clear. What gives you the idea that I would hurt you?
Um, I think I kind of like look and I say, I know something about you that I thought that you knew, but I'm beginning to think that maybe you don't.
Well, by all means, enlighten me.
Um, yes, when we first started, you know, traveling together and fighting with our party, I was given a vision by from Cyrus, the god of summer, that warned me to be careful around you because you'd been chosen by the god of the night. And I just, at first I thought that you didn't know, and then I thought maybe you did know, and just now this kind of shadow came over you, and so I don't know. I just didn't know what you were thinking about or what you were planning to do, and
Uh, are you think Leona like stops and like focuses on like cleaning up this knife and is just like, what's so wrong with the night anyways?
I mean, it's dark. I just like when things are bright, but I mean the day and the night, the summer and the winter. I don't know. Aren't they enemies?
Maybe your god told you that. Maybe your god is making up this whole preposterous champion thing anyways.
I think I definitely like bristle when you're like maybe your god's just making this up. But I think I kind of like push that aside, and I think I'll just ask like for the next question in character and out of character basically. So like, okay, well, regardless of how we feel about each other or whether we are mortal enemies and some kind of destined to duel situation, right now there's a demon prince that wants to kill both of us. So what can we do to destroy our our common enemy?
Uh, I think I'm going to answer this question by giving the opposite of what I want to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think maybe in like the torchlight or however we're illuminating this cave, maybe like a bit of it reflects off this mysterious, dangerous relic that you have.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Leona like clocks that and maybe like stares a little too long before eventually saying, well, we'll just, I don't know, keep trying. But maybe Claudia clocks that I have clocked
yeah. Yeah, I think I looked down at this relic. I'm imagining now this relic. I think it's a necklace. I think I wear it. And maybe now that I have my armor off, like my breastplate off, like that's why it's so visible, because it's just like, like you can see it like just on my regular clothes. And I'm imagining it's like a translucent like claw that like kind of has this like iridescence to it. And I look down and kind of hold it and say, yes, maybe some training. We can work together to see if we can defeat this creature with your abilities combined with mine. Your fighting combined with my magic.
I suppose that's our only choice.
And I think we're on to our last question, which is to you. I mean, it's from you, I guess.
I guess I'll close with this one. Are you satisfied?
Yeah, I think is Leona saying, are you satisfied, or you're asking that question like just is this Kylan asking the question, or is it Leona asking the question?
I think it's Kylan asking the question.
I think kind of yes and no. I think I don't immediately believe like, oh, that my god is lying or wrong. So I think that kind of makes me still bristle against you. But I think I am satisfied that you don't have any ill intentions toward me, which I think definitely makes the rivalry feel less heated, I think. It feels like the stakes are not as as high, where it's like, oh my god warned me about you, but you don't seem to have ill intentions. So yeah, so I think yes and no. On some fronts yes. On some fronts no. Which that'll take us to our next short rest. So we'll put these over here. Oop. Da, da, da. These will get shuffled back in. Oh wait, hang on. I think I just I think they're gonna be flipped up and down now, because I just put some that were face up mixed with some that are face down, but oh well. Okay, so I've got a blank and a 4. I think we should count blanks as wilds, just because I think it might the game might stop working.
Right.
So then you can draw one, and then this will determine our options for the short rest. And there are blanks listed as one of the options. Okay, so
I got a 1 and a 4.
Yeah, we've got a 1, a 4, a blank, and a 5. So blank is eat a meal or down a drink. 1 is think a spell. Describe how you feel about the grievance you just resolved. 3 and 4, which you have a 4, is make an aside. So we did that one. And then 5 is take a walk. So I think I will eat a meal for mine. I like that. What are you thinking for yours?
Okay, so I have 1 and 4. So that is eat a meal or have another aside.
I think 1 is think a spell. Just blank.
Oh, 1 is think a spell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Blank is eat a meal. Okay. Oh, I will think a spell, I think.
Cool. So for eat a meal or down a drink, describe what you eat or drink and whether you share it with someone else. I think I like the idea that that you've made something with these creature parts. And I think normally Claudia would be like, I'll just find something else. But I think I'm like, I'll give it a try. So I think I'm eating. What do you think Leona has made with the parts? Like, what kind of dish?
Mm-hmm. I don't want to say soup because we already went through soup.
It's
Um,
hard. It's hard to think of anything other than soup.
so I think it's like I bet this is like a very tough meat from
Mm.
this tough creature. So I think maybe she had to like tenderize it, maybe lightly breaded it and
Mm.
like so like a schnitzel almost.
Oh yeah, like a cutlet.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So it's like pounded really flat and then fried and breaded.
Yeah.
I think it's probably good. I think it I've never had like snake or alligator like or like reptile kind of meat in real life, but I think it's supposed to be kind of gamey. So I think it's probably like tastes a little bit like I guess gamey. I can't think of another word. But it's fried. It's breaded and fried. How can that be bad? So I think I'm having it like as a sandwich. Like maybe we've gotten some
Yeah.
bread from a village or something nearby. Um, I think I'm eating this like really delicious sandwich that I didn't think that I would ever enjoy. And just kind of, I imagine like tired and feeling sore because we just had this intense fight, and so I'm just like sitting by the fire eating this fried creature sandwich. But yeah, what do you think? How's your sitting a spell going? What are you thinking about?
Ooh. I think so on the outside, I think you see Leona like probably using the same like tool that she used to like tenderize this meat is
Uh-huh.
like going to town on like this plated armor that she
Oh yeah.
got off of this creature. And if you like ask her what she's doing, she just brushes you off. But I think while she's doing this task, she is like she's got a lot of things on her mind. I think for like the I think she has like three different things on her mind at once. So like the most immediate threat being like this demon prince type thing that's like I will do whatever I can to hunt you down and to end you.
Mm-hmm.
Um so like that is thought number one. Thought number two stemming from that is like, well, is this all my fault because of what I did? And then like looking over you eating this monster sandwich like reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Like am I the one that like brought all this wrath and ire on us and is like putting everyone in danger? Um and then I'm noodling on like the champion of like night and shadows and uh secrecy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And is like, well, is this all I'm destined to do is bring about darkness? Like, am I really this bad guy? Type thing. So she's like wrestling with a lot of different thoughts at once. Um, but and I think by the end of it, she doesn't reach a satisfying conclusion.
Yeah.
But she kind of distracts herself by like at the end of it, going up to Claudia and like rusting out these plate chunks and is like, here,
For me?
I notice how dinged up your armor got in that battle, and I'm thinking it's not a real suitable material. So, if we're going to continue to fight these creatures, you're going to need something stronger.
Yes, especially because Greg isn't here to help me get it back into fighting shape. I think. Thank you, Leona, for the meal. I mean, it's making me wish I would have at least tried the soup.
It's a pretty damn good soup.
Good soup.
But I think she says that on the outside, but on the inside, it stings a little because she's still thinking back to the, oh, this is my fault.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I like that. I think that's a good place for us to take our break. We're about an hour and a half into the stream. It's usually going to take a break. So we are going to go over to a break screen. While we're on the break screen, you can read more about Kylan and what else she has going on. And yeah, we're gonna go on break, and we'll be back in like 10-ish, 15-ish minutes, something like that. So Kylan, do you want to say goodbye to chat for now?
yeah, we'll catch you guys in a minute.
See ya. Felicitations, adventurers! We are back with the second half of our one-shot of The Tension Between Us Has Reached Its Boiling Point by Chivu, who is in the chat. I just noticed you said hello right when we went to break, so if you're still here, thanks for dropping by. We're really enjoying the game. And speaking of the game, you can pick this game up for $1 on itch, so why wouldn't you? Just go pick it up. It's a very fun game. I think this would be great too. It's very fun to play. Like, we're playing it where we just like made up characters for the game, but also if you're like in like a D&D or Pathfinder game and you have two player characters that have like conflict between them, like playing this game to like as like a kind of a side thing to resolve that conflict, I think would be super fun. But I'm also here with Kylan. So let me put her links in the chat, where you can follow on Twitter and Twitch and Tumblr. I think let's probably just get right back into our game, though. So far we've had our two characters, Claudia and Leona, who have all these grievances between each other. Some of them more one-sided than others. We have resolved question mark. They're not, I wouldn't say any of these are fully resolved, but we have partially resolved that I missed your birthday meal. I kind of blew off your birthday meal / had an embarrassing incident that made me miss it that I don't want to tell you about. We have also resolved that you turned a powerful demon into soup and alienated all of my followers. We resolved that pretty intensely. We've also hinted at the fact that Leona is chosen by a god of the night or the moon or darkness, something along those lines. We don't know exactly what yet. And Claudia's god warned her when they first met that Leona was a danger or a threat or a rival or something along those lines, which Claudia has now told Leona while we were having a fight with, oh yeah, there's like a demon prince now that like wants to kill us and kill our party and all this different stuff.
No biggie.
No biggie. And then we sat down and had a meal. Leona made some armor, and now we're ready to resolve our next grievance, which is we talked about a little bit off stream, but Kylan, do you want to tell people what you were thinking for our third grievance?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking, since we kind of touched upon it at the end of our last grievance, is getting into this whole chosen thing. And figuring out what that's about and figuring out how our characters are reacting to it. And then for the method that I was thinking we could go about it, I think kind of really fits into the theme of it all, is an epiphany. So
Yes.
Decide on a secret that is revealed to the characters present.
I like that a lot. I'm down for that. So we have the grievance, we have the method, which we agree on. Location, yeah, is the next thing that we need to decide. Do you have an idea for where you want this location to be?
I really like the idea of, since we're talking about like this epiphany about this god of darkness and moon and night and everything, Moonlit Hill.
I was thinking that too.
Very good.
It's very fitting. Yeah, I like Moonlit Hill as well. So I think then the next thing we need to do is pull dominoes to determine what the tension level for this will be. So I'll let you pull first. And what we have on the board is a blank, a 5, a 1, and a 4. So that's what we're looking to connect of these dominoes.
All right. First pull. Blank and a 3.
Okay, so that does not connect. 6 and a 6 does not connect.
This actually connects. 5 and a 4.
Perfect.
I love how this is less than the soup stripe.
Yeah, the soup
2023.
If I ever do merch, that's it. The merch will be t-shirts that say Soup Strife 2023. I should also say this. I was going to say this when I came back from break and I forgot to. But if there's anyone in chat who would like to make this strife more or less, I think you can only make it more. You can do $5 and bump this up from what level are we at? From friction. You could bump it up from friction to bitter if you'd like, which would give us more questions to ask. And also Shelby, hello, thank you. You should get this game. Shelby and Chaz said that they're bookmarking this game to buy because it sounds amazing, and it is amazing. It's very fun. Okay, so we have 2 questions. This is so funny that it's like this big epiphany. It's just 2 questions. And I think I get to ask the first one because you chose the method. Okay, so we also get to decide some things to establish. So we know it's on a moonlit hill. We decide on the secret that is revealed to the characters present. We can establish the logic that led to the reveal and the character reactions. So I think I'm imagining it's like something where it's like just to set the scene a little bit, like we have this thing where you give me this new armor and I eat the monster sandwich and we kind of like, connect a little bit. We go to bed and then I imagine it's something where it's like there's something that wakes us up in the evening that we go to this moonlit hill. Do you have an idea of like what it could be that would wake us up, that would like go along? Because I don't know exactly. I don't want to decide for you what the nature of your chosenness is. So I think whatever it is that wakes us up probably has to do with like whoever this god is or something like that.
Okay. I don't know if this makes sense logically, like based on real world science, but like, what if tonight there is some sort of like red moon eclipse that is just like so bright that it kind of like wakes us up?
I like that. Yeah, so we wake up in there's no way that we have 1 tent. We definitely have 2 tents. So we each wake up in our own little tents and it's like this red light that's like very eerie because it's the middle of the night, and like get out of the tents and like look up and see this big red moon. And I'm imagining maybe that there's almost like a beam of moonlight that is like over on this hill that like is like we're maybe a little bit lower on the hill. Like we've made our camp like maybe under like an outcropping or something like that, but we can see this beam of light like up further to the hill that we go over to investigate. So I guess that's how we end up going over there. What do you think the reveal is? Or do you think we should do the questions first and use that to determine what the reveal is? I'm really open to whatever.
Oh, geez. I am kind of blanking right now, if you have any ideas.
Yeah, let me look at the questions and see. Okay. All the questions basically are kind of reliant on us knowing what the reveal is. So I kind of like the idea that the reveal is that I guess this isn't necessarily the real. The reveal is that you're chosen by this god of night, and that I interpreted my god's like premonition to me that you were a danger to me, that like that we were going to be rivals or something like that, but I misunderstood what my god was trying to tell me, and that instead of it being like we were rivals, that it was supposed to be that we could work together, that like our weaknesses complemented each other's strengths, and that it's like the moon and the sun aren't enemies. Like they both exist. They both need to be in the world. And so the reveal is something where it's like we don't need to be at odds with each other.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I like that, especially since, like, I don't know, eclipses are like the two things combined together,
Yeah, yeah.
forming a new phenomenon. So, um, it's not about being chosen as a champion of darkness, but a way to illuminate the darkness.
Yeah. I like that. So then I guess the reveal more specifically that helps us like come to this realization that we were meant to work together is your character was kind of like puzzling through, am I supposed to be like bringing darkness? Like what exactly is this? And that I've been chosen by the sun and you've been chosen by the moon. And so that is like the illumination of the darkness and not like that you're bringing darkness to everything.
Yeah.
I like that. So what do you think? I'm imagining, which this doesn't have to be what it is, but I'm imagining that like Leona kind of steps into this beam of red light, and that's like how the epiphany happens, like something is revealed physically like of you when you step into that. Do you have ideas of like what that would look like or how you'd be reacting or
Ooh,
things like that?
I have an idea. Um, so you remember that sword that was like broken in
Yes.
this fight? What if the other part of it, the part that was broken off, is now replaced by this beautiful,
Ooh.
resplendent red light blade
That's
thing?
very cool. That's very cool. And I think, yeah, it's like your sword, like, kind of fills in with this, like, red, resplendent light. And I think the reflection that comes off of it, like, reflects onto the necklace that I have that was kind of like this translucent pearlescence. And that kind of takes on, like, a reddish hue where it's like, and that's like, oh, we're supposed to be working together. Like we can use similar powers. We can both be using different kinds of light and complement each other. We're not meant to be rivals. So okay, so that gives me a good idea of what question to ask. Um ooh, okay. I kind of like this. One of the questions is, what details must we keep between us? Which I kind of
Hmm.
like, that it's like, oh, we have like something about this we're keeping a secret even from like our other friends.
Hmm. That's a good question. I'm gonna have to noodle on that one for a second. What details must we keep between us? Um, okay. What if, and this isn't like a hard and fast idea because I'm kind of floundering right now, but it's the first thing that came to
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, we can talk it out.
Um, what if this power is like on a time limit? Like we only have as long as this um eclipse is like happening to
Ooh.
seal
Yeah.
away this monster.
I like that because then it's like we are keeping this between us because we don't want to like worry other people. Like
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, we can have this special power, but we only have like the rest of tonight to do it. So we
Yeah.
don't really have like time to let other people know. And if we did let other people know, it would be like really scary. I like that. Yeah, that we have this like really great power, but it only happens like during this specific astrological event of this red moon. That's very cool. Cool. Then you get to ask the second and final question for our epiphany.
Uh, that's a lot of these are good, and we only have two questions.
I know. I know. For the soup, it was like, oh, what can we ask? These are all like so intense for soup. I like it though. I like it.
I think it makes sense for the narrative we're telling, how we're like coming together with this epiphany.
Yeah, I think it does too.
Do you have any doubts?
Ooh. I think no. I think I don't have any. I think as we're I'm imagining a lot is being communicated kind of like wordlessly. Like it's not like there are things that are happening where it's like the way that we know we only have a certain amount of time is that this beam of light comes down and then the eclipse starts, like, you know how like an eclipse it'll be like it's still an eclipse, but it's like fading out of it. And I think as that's happening, like the light from my necklace and your sword are kind of like starting to wane a little bit. So we're like, oh, we only have this for a little while. And so we're kind of looking at each other. And I think what Leona sees in Claudia is that Claudia normally has this very puffed up and like blustery kind of fake confidence where she would never admit that she's unsure of things, but that is to cover up a lot of like insecurities that she has or like doubts that she has. And I think she's felt odd that her god would warn her about this other person, that as we've gotten to know each other, like we have conflict of personality, but it doesn't seem like you want to like kill me. You know? So it's like, oh, am I even like right about my god, and maybe my god is bad, and like all of this different stuff. And so I think with this reveal and this epiphany, for the first time in a while, I think Claudia doesn't have any doubts. And instead of having this very blustery, like puffed up confidence, I think it's kind of just this quiet, more in line with, with I think how Leona is normally. That's just this very like self-confident, like meeting your gaze and just like kind of nodding. I think maybe there's some kind of aura from the necklace that is like pointing in a certain direction to be like, this is where this demon prince is. So I kind of just like look down at it and like kind of like look at you and nod and then like gesture in the direction that I think we need to go and say, well, I guess we don't have too much time.
Let's finish this once and for all.
Cool. I like that right after that, then we do have a short rest. Let's finish this once and for all. But first,
a quick little break.
but first, maybe we share a meal. Okay, let me flip this and put this here, and then these go over here. And okay, so we'll draw our short rest tiles. I got a blank and a 3. Means I could have another meal.
Okay, no doubles, right?
Oh, yes, no doubles for, yeah, I forgot about that for
Okay,
short rest.
so we'll put that down. Ooh, blank and a 1.
Okay, so we could blanks share a meal, so we could do that together. 1 is think a spell. And 3 is make an aside. Describe yourself making a comment to another character or away from all other characters. I'm not really feeling like I want to make an aside, so I think I'll go for a meal. What are you thinking? Are you thinking meal, or are you thinking that you want... Or it could also be a drink. Just eat a meal or down a drink.
Yeah, I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to do eat or drink, but I want to go with drink.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because what I'm thinking is maybe one of our other party members, and maybe to kind of
Oh,
riff on
yeah.
some of the game terms, maybe one of our party members is like an apothecary or something. And
Yeah.
maybe they brewed up these potions of like strength or heroism or
Yeah.
um, something like that to be like, oh, you'll probably need this on your quest. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe in that moment, like Leona's like, it's time.
Yeah. What do you think the potion looks like?
Hmm. I think, hmm, maybe it's like this like crimson color and it kind of like pulses faintly, like it has its own heartbeat.
Ooh, I like that. Um, yeah, I think we each have one of like the same potion, so you take yours out to drink it, and then I'm like, oh, like that's a good idea, and so I take mine out, and I think I drink mine too, and I think it's like kind of spicy, like the flavor of it is like a little bit like spicy, and so I'm kind of just like, oh, okay, oh yeah, that wakes me up. Like, just start like running to wherever this thing
Yeah.
is. Cool. Okay, so that's our short rest, I think, unless there's other stuff that you want to narrate happening with that. Okay, so we keep those out. And then, okay, so we only have one grievance left, which is I mean, honestly, fittingly, it is the demon. It's the brother of this demon, that you stole the kill from me, and I'm angry about it. I think, ooh, I'm feeling clearing in the woods for the location.
Hmm.
Because it's moonlit, we're going from a hill, we're running through the woods, there's a clearing in the woods. I think that's cool. Let me think of what method, though. Ooh. Oh, I think it would be cool if our last grievance, I'll pitch that it's a pact, is our method for settling this last grievance.
I was really like gravitating towards that one too,
Cool.
so let's
Cool.
go.
Cool. We're really zeroed in. Okay, so I picked the clearing in the woods as the location. Let's draw tiles to see how tense this is. So I'll draw the first one. I got a 6 and a 6, so that does not match. We have a blank, a 3, a blank, and a 1.
I got a 4 and a 4 that does not match.
2 and a 2. Does not match.
Blank and a 2 does not quite match.
Not quite. 2 and a 5. So we're going down. It fits that the last one would have more questions.
1 and a 3
perfect.
matches.
Perfect.
So took 5 tiles, 6 tiles?
6 tiles.
Okay.
So that is 3 questions. Yes.
Ooh, what's our rating? It's
bitter.
Bitter.
Very cool. Okay, so since I picked, you'll get to ask the first question, but we will decide on a promise bound by magic that sets your grievance aside. We can establish what we agree upon and how magic manifests around us.
Ooh, okay. I think I'm gonna pitch this to you. I think something Leona would say would be something along the lines of promise me that if I fall in battle tonight, that you will finish this quest.
I think I like, kind of nod, and I say, I promise that I will finish this quest, and I promise I will not allow you to fall. We're too strong
Oh,
together.
perfect.
I like that. Well, how do you think the magic manifests around us as we make this pact between us?
Hmm. Oh, you know what I think would be fun? Um, Maybe it's like one of those things where like Leona is like illuminated in this bright golden light, and
Ooh.
Claudia is
Oh, yes!
covered in like darkness.
Yeah! I like that, especially because I'm wearing this armor that you made for me that I'm imagining because it's like a stronger metal, that it's more of a silvery moon like color as well.
Mm.
So I like that a lot. That's very cool. Um, and I think the last thing that I say before we get into this this fight with this demon, uh, is I look at you and I say, the birthday thing. I wanted to tell you, Petunia did get lost. I wasn't lying about that, but when I was looking for her, I fell into a sinkhole, and then I just got lost down underground, and then I was muddy, and then I found my way out, and then she wasn't even that lost. Like, if I wouldn't have fallen into the sinkhole, I could have made it back in time, and I'm really sorry I missed her birthday party.
I think it's one of those things where like Leona, who is normally pretty like serious, no nonsense in like her demeanor, like laughs. uh and it's not like a little chuckle, it's like a full-on laugh.
Yeah.
And she's like smiling, and like she's like, that's what you wanted to tell me now when we're about to have the fight of our lives.
Well, I should have told you when you won the contest, and so I went on a walk, and I was gonna tell you then, but then I found the footprint, and then it seemed like that was so. I wanted to tell you now. I just felt like I should. I didn't feel like there should be any secrets between us.
um ooh uh what would Now I'm trying to think if there's something that Leona would reveal in this moment.
Ooh.
um uh oh, I think Leona would say something along the lines of, well, I feel like I should apologize as well if we're laying everything out on the table. I didn't mean to uh, scare away your followers. Um, I I come from a a poor family, you know, a long line of hunters and gatherers who do what they can to survive off the means they have. And I was always taught that we should um, use every part of what we have slain to not only um, to celebrate our victory and to waste nothing. And I maybe should have realized that it could have came across as insensitive.
Well, I appreciate that. I think you're right, though. I mean, if I have followers and they're scared of soup, then that's not really. I think I can get a new retinue of, of people who aren't afraid of. I guess demon soup sounds kind of scary, but monster sandwich sounds scary, and that was really good. So I feel a lot better.
Do we want to dig into some questions now?
Yes, let's dig into some questions. I think you get to ask first.
Ooh, okay. So we're at packed.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 3 questions.
Yes. So you'll get the first one and the last one.
Um, ooh, okay. Hmm. What acts as a reminder of our bond?
Ooh, that's really good. Okay. So I imagine that we have this conversation, and as it's happening, the our power is very slowly uh waning. Actually, I think I'm gonna maybe retcon something that before. I think I said that when we realized that we had the power and that it was on a time limit that it started to wane away. I actually think it was getting brighter. So as the eclipse is getting
Oh,
brighter, but then that also shows that the reverse will be true, that it'll get at its most powerful and then it'll wane away. And so I think it's actually that this bond between us and the pact that we've made and the power from our gods is growing. But we can see that it's maybe about to be at its peak, that we'll need to do this fight. And I think what acts as a reminder of our bond, I'm imagining that this kind of smoky spirit kind of thing that we saw leave that other creature is kind of coalescing into this
mm,
clearing with us. And so from all around us there's this black smoky substance that's kind of coming together. And I think the thing that acts as a reminder of our bond is I'm kind of imagining uh something like the thing that I just thought of is so funny because it's not any of the genre that we've talked about so far. But I'm thinking of in Frozen when Anna gets the her hair changes color because of the magic from Elsa. I imagine it's something like that. When we make the pact, I have the I'm in darkness and you're in light, and I imagine that a little bit of my hair goes silver in the front and a little of your hair goes gold in the front. That
cute.
reminds us that we're kind of bonded together in this way. So the magic is kind of swirling around us and our hair is just changing a little bit.
Perf.
I like that. Magical girl moment.
You love to see it.
And that is, I think I get to ask the next question, which I almost forgot. Okay. Do, 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 do. I think maybe my question for you then is, when have you seen magic like this before?
Ooh, okay. I'm going to jump back to our character sheet and see if there's anything in allies and advantages that I
Yeah.
want to draw upon. Um, hmm. Okay. It says in yours that you have a spirit of nature.
Oh yeah,
Do
well,
you
we have not.
wanna
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
do you wanna elaborate on that a little more?
Yeah. What is my spirit of nature? Okay, so he said my god is associated with summer. So I'm imagining that maybe it's um I'm imagining less of something like a personified looking spirit and more of in some video games you'll activate a power and then it'll just kind of almost like a symbol will appear. I don't know how to
Mhm.
word that, but I'm imagining that it's the spirit of nature is sometimes when I use my magic, these sheaves of golden wheat kind of appear around me, and they're kind of sentient esque kind of thing.
Mhm.
So it doesn't look like a person, but it still is a spirit that has agency, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know if what I said made any sense at all, or if it just sounded like
I think so.
a fever dream.
I'm trying to decide. Secret Ritual is interesting to me too.
Oh, yeah.
Friend on a Quest is interesting to me too. Maybe not Friend on a Quest. So maybe it's one of those things where like Leona kind of like looks down at herself, like enshrouded in, well, maybe not enshrouded, illuminated in this light is probably the word I'm looking for. And maybe it's like at first this light isn't familiar to her, but then she kind of sees like these tufts of wheat, kind of like maybe maybe there's an aura around her arm or something, and it kind of like, you know, not growing off her arm but coming off this aura, and it's like, oh, I recognize this before. This is your spirit that comes to you, but in this moment, you know, it's kind of giving me its blessing as well. Like,
yeah, I think to add on to that, maybe it's a thing where like you've seen when I've made promises to people before that like that has appeared on my arm, because I'm imagining like how like you can weave things together with like straw or grass or something like that. Like you can make like a basket or whatever. So maybe it's like a little arm piece that like is kind of magically woven together. Like when I've made a promise to someone before, like has appeared on my arm and maybe the other person's arm. And so maybe that's also like happening right now with like the promise that we made to each other. What do you think of that?
I know you were joking before that we're undergoing a magical girl transformation, but like
it is seeming like we are. We're having things magically appear on us. Our hair is changing.
Oh my gosh. Now we need to pick a theme song that's playing. I don't know. If chat has suggestions, please.
What wheat themed song would be playing right now? That's so funny. Yeah, I think that's then your question. And I think it'll be the last question.
Oh, snap. Okay, now I gotta land on one. Ooh, all right.
It won't be the last question of the game because there are ending the game questions that we'll have for each other. But this will be the last question for this grievance.
I think the one that I'm landing on right now is, what does this change for the party?
Ooh, I like that. What does this change for the party? I think, and like you can feel free to chime in for like other stuff that's happening, but we're having this kind of magical girl transformation where we're bonded together, or like some of each other's magic is kind of being like transferred between us. And I think then what this turns to is this almost like dance-like action sequence where the two of us start like both at the same time like kind of launch into fighting this demon that has now solidified in the center of the clearing. And like I'm even imagining it's one of those things where it's like there's a flash of light, and then when it goes away there's like a slice across the demon, or like that kind of stuff, and we're just working like so in sync together. And yeah, and like there'll even be something where I imagine like this is too silly, but where it's almost like a situation, I can't think of another thing that would be other than this, so it's not this, but it's something like this, where like when you like tabletop someone, so it'll be like one of us is like behind the demon and the other one like does something and like it like falls back, so we're like really working together really well. And I think even more than that, it's not even just that we intuitively sense what each other are doing, but that we are communicating for like the first time, and there's not misunderstandings. We have grace for each other, and we're saying what we're like thinking and feeling. And so it is like I'm calling over to you like, oh, there's a weak point, and like you're calling over to me like, watch behind you, and like that kind of thing. And so I think what this changes for the party is that when you have two people on like a team together who just like cannot communicate, then it makes like everything more tense and like everyone having a harder time working together. But when you have people who are communicating effectively, it even helps like the other people in that group to be able to like communicate more effectively. And so I think that's like the thing that changes, is that us finally putting aside our differences and our grievances and taking time to understand each other, like we unlock this magical ability, but we also are like, oh, we can communicate. We can communicate effectively.
And nothing is more magical than communication.
Listen, I was a communications major, so so we can see that this all comes back to something that I care about. That's the last question. Do you have any like other things that you want to add to this, like, you know, the description of like what this fight looks like or what it looks like as we dispatch this demon?
Ooh. Okay, here's a question. And this might be a tonal shift. But do we both come out of this okay?
I think we both would come out alive because I made a pact that you were gonna live. I guess Claudia could die.
No.
I think maybe to make the pact more meaningful, maybe it could be something that Leona does get like very injured, and with the last of this like power between us from the eclipse, because I'm a cleric, like I channel that into oh, what would you think of this? This could be kind of funny. So I have this choice. You get injured, like pretty badly injured by this demon. And I have this choice that I could either just kill the demon and heal you, which would resolve the battle, but it's not going to steal this demon away, so it is just kind of kicking the problem down the curb. Or I could seal this demon away into my necklace, but you would die. And so in that moment, I choose to heal you and take out the demon, so it's still like finishing the battle, but I don't seal it away into my necklace. I just kill it.
Ooh,
what do you think of that?
That's spicy. That's spicy.
So then this demon's brother, maybe the king of demons, as opposed to the prince of demons, will come after us.
Ooh, okay. And maybe it's like one of those things just to like kind of RP it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Where like Leona's on the ground or something, and maybe I don't know what position Claudia would be in, like if it's like, you know, holding Leona or just like hands to like wherever the wound is, channeling that magic.
Yeah.
However it's positioned, I think Leona would kind of just like eyes flutter open, cough a little bit, and say something along the lines of, why didn't you finish it once and for all?
I mean, we're working so well together. Don't you think it would kind of be fun to fight together whatever happens next.
And there's a very like weak smile, but it's still there. Um, and she'll say, I've always loved a good challenge, a good hunt.
Yeah. I think then, like, kind of this eclipse, this red, this red moon eclipse situation fades away. I think we still have the hair color thing happening, but some of the other magical effects fade away. Which brings us to ending the game. With your grievances set aside, describe your character's thoughts and feelings upon returning to the party with their relationship changed. Then take turns asking 2 final questions for each player. There are some suggestions. If we have other questions, then, you know, we can do those instead. So I think Claudia's thoughts and feelings upon returning to the party are pretty much relief again. Like, I think it's like she was very devoted to this feud for prideful reasons, but she didn't really want to be. And so us returning and having this, like, visible mark that Claudia and Leona, like, are bonded together. I think Claudia's feeling very, like, relieved and happy, and for once, like, not really worried about the demon thing. It's like, oh, yeah, well, I'm sure we can... Whoever, Nick or Kevin or Joe, whichever demon shows up, or who's there's the youngest Jonas brother whose name I don't remember. What is his name?
I don't know.
When he was a baby, they would call him the bonus Jonas, but I don't remember what his name is. Anyway, whichever demon brother, the bonus Jonas, shows up. Yeah, what do you think your character's thoughts and feelings are upon returning to the party?
I believe there's like a sense of understanding, whereas before Leona was kind of confused by Claudia's demeanor, had like no sense of understanding because it seems like they came from very different backgrounds, polar opposite personalities, even down to appearance. And I think at first Leona just kind of brushed it off as like, you know, whatever. We're never gonna get along. But now there's like a sense of like, oh, you know, if we just like reached out with the olive branch sooner, I could have seen that you know, this is a competent warrior and a good friend.
Yeah. I think one of these questions I feel like you just answered, so I won't ask that. What's something that you didn't get to say to me? I think that's a good question. Also, Blink Dog came in saying Frankie is the bonus Jonas, which is right. Yeah. Frankie Jonas.
Perfect. Demon Frankie's coming next.
The most powerful of all.
Something that I didn't get to say to you. Okay. I think there is like this underlying sense of regret. I think this demon thing might be more on Leona's forefront than it is on Claudia's. Like the sense of regret of like, you know, you shouldn't have chosen me. So like I think that's something that she's like pushing deep down.
Oh no.
But like, Yeah, I think that's something that she's still holding on to, which might be resolved at a later date. Who
Maybe
knows?
the sequel. we have we have even more grievances. Yeah, I like that. Do you have one of these final ending game questions for me?
Hmm. Do we still have any hostility between us?
Um, hmm. I think I don't think it's hostility, but I think we still have personalities that are in conflict at times. So, I don't think it's like hostility. Like I think it's a thing where now when at least on Claudia's end when she when she makes a mistake, she's more likely to want to like admit to it at least to Leona. But I think there's still times where uh Claudia takes something that Leona did in bad faith or like things like that. So I don't think there's hostility, but I also don't think it's like, oh, now everything's like perfect. Like we're always
Yeah.
like I think we're still like the two characters still like Claudia's still very vain. um I think she keeps the armor that Leona made for her, but I think she like really buffs it up. So it's
Yeah.
like so it's still she's like obsessed with keeping it very nice looking. And I think now like when something happens to it, like if she's like, you know, like practicing fighting with like someone else in the party and it gets dinged up, she's not just like, oh, it needs to be kept pristine. She's like, Leona made this for me. Like and like it almost becomes like a new reason why she has to keep her armor like too nice. So I wouldn't say hostility, but I think there are still like foibles that like can
Yeah.
have some tension.
That makes
um
sense.
Okay, let me see. Oh, I think to go along with that, I'll ask you for my second question. Do you trust me now?
Hmm. I think yes. I think there is a sense of trust and um Leona is reminded of it every time like she goes to like a river per se to like wash up or to
Mm-hmm.
like fish. She looks down into the water and sees the streak of gold in her hair and is reminded of how the promise that they made to each other, how in sync they were in the battle. So it's like the sense of, yeah, I know she has my back.
Yeah, I like that. And then that just leaves the last question of the game for you.
Ooh, this might be obvious, but maybe we can get more into the specifics to kind of flesh it out. But where do we go from here?
I like that. Yeah, I think. Hmm. I think we definitely tell the rest of our party about Kevin, the, or Frankie, sorry, Frankie, the demon, and say like, oh yeah, this might be happening, um, and I think maybe one of the things that continues to be like a little bit of conflict is that Claudia for some reason has like a very like, oh, like, the demon will come to us, we'll deal with it when it happens, whereas it sounds like Leona is more like, no, we need to go deal with this now because you feel like a little bit responsible for like the whole thing. um I think maybe kind of as we're like fleshing things out and wrapping things up, I imagine it's almost like the credits sequence is like there's little like video of like practicing and sparring and like studying and all of this stuff, where Claudia's like happy to do side quests and train to fight this other demon that we might have to fight. And then maybe we're seeing more of like Leona like doing like hunting and tracking, and is more like, guiding the party to try to get to where this thing is, maybe more subtly. I know technically I'm just supposed to answer it, but what are your thoughts on like where do we go from here?
Ooh, I think on like if there was a specific quest we were um going to do in this moment, I really like the idea of like consulting with like why am I blanking and going to Final Fantasy 14 terms? Astrologian, who can like predict the next eclipse.
Oh, that's, yeah.
So we'll know when our time comes and like, to
Yeah.
prepare. Maybe that's like as we're traveling and training, this is like our next goal.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I like just like the image of Leona kind of like I'm imagining like I just keep thinking of Zelda, but like the tower in Majora's Mask where they're like looking up at the moon, like that kind of vibe. And it's like Leona, like there's like this like kind of like bald guy with like glasses who like has all these papers and is like showing Leona like the star charts and all of this different stuff, and you're kind of like looking down, and then like out the window we can see like that Claudia and like another party member are like sparring with each other. And it's like, yeah, okay, maybe this will work out. We'll figure out when the next
Yeah.
eclipse is. We'll be trained. I like that.
Nice.
So that's it. That is the game. That is the tension between us has reached its boiling point. That was so much fun. I had such a good time playing with you and like fleshing out these
Yeah.
characters. They feel so like fleshed out. It's wild to think that like we didn't have any like before, what time did we at, like 3 like 3 p.m. we were like had nothing. And now we have like, I feel like these very fleshed out characters in the world. That's good.
Yeah. We didn't even have names until like 5 minutes before showtime.
That's true. Should we say the the Easter egg of how we picked our character
Oh,
names?
absolutely. So, one of the touchstones for this game, which I really love because I'm a big nerd for this series, is Fire Emblem support conversations. So, whenever I drew the tile for this character and I got like Hunter, Cook, or Ranger Cook, it reminded me of a character from Fire Emblem Three Houses, Leone, who is very much like this waste not, want not type, utilizes every part of everything. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't use the name Leone because that would be ripping off too much. So let's go with Leona.
And then I was like, I don't have a name in mind. I haven't played any of the Fire Emblem games, but my husband played Three Houses, and so I was like looking through the names, and I was like, oh, I remember he played like Claude, or like Claude was like a person in his sect or whatever. And I was like, I remember that. I remember that guy was cool, so I'll be Claudia. I love that we just added A's to existing Fire Emblem character names.
Haha.
Haha. If you're watching this and you too want to play Fire Emblem support character conversations, head over to itch. The link is in the chat right now. It'll be in the the YouTube VOD. To pick up The Tension Between Us Has Reached Its Boiling Point by Chivu, who's in the chat right now. Thank you so much for watching. It's $1, so you should go get it. And also, once again, thank you, Chivu, for giving us a PDF of this game to play on stream. And I guess I'll throw it over to you, Kylan, if you have other stuff that you want to, for anyone who missed the first part of the stream, if you want to reintroduce yourself, and also let people know what other kind of stuff you have going on, where they can find you, etc., etc.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi, my name is Kylan. You can follow me at pretty much everything at Kyle with an N. So the things I do online nowadays is I like to stream on my own Twitch channel. I'm a variety streamer. I play different types of video games. Um, I usually do Nintendo classics mixed with fun, quirky little indie games in there. Um, right now, I am playing through Pokemon Stadium. I'm doing a randomized team gym leader challenge where I have to like go in with whatever crappy team the randomizer picks for me and see how far I can go. Right now I'm on Giovanni and it's absolutely kicking my butt. So come watch me rage over that. Or speaking of Fire Emblem, I might be starting a playthrough that has
Ooh.
something to do with that on my stream. So you can check that out if you're a fan or a newbie to the series. Um, I also, in my spare time, like to play solo TTRPGs. I love journaling games. But I'm very bad at like journaling just for me, and I love external validation, so I share it on Tumblr. So you can check me out, Kyle with an N on there. Sometimes I'll do a little game post about it. And I'm always looking for more game suggestions. So if you have any, just hit me up and be like, "Hey, play this game," and I'll be like, "Okay,"
Yes.
and I'll do it. So yeah, that's me, and thanks for the opportunity, and I had lots of fun.
Yes, I had so much fun too. Thank you for coming on stream and playing. I am still in the process of planning my streams for next month. I believe I'm going to be playing a game called Most Trusted Advisor, although I don't have a date for it yet. And I also believe I'm going to be doing a Vampire the Masquerade game next month. So if you're in chat and any of those things sound interesting to you, drop a follow if you haven't already, or just come tune in those. You can also follow me on Twitter at Roll for Felicity. I tweet about the stuff that I'm doing. I'm on Tumblr. I haven't been as active on there, but I am hoping to write more like movie thoughts and like tabletop RPG not reviews, but like summaries. I don't know. Talking about tabletop RPGs that I've played. So you can follow me those places. Actually, I should do this. And if you like playing tabletop RPGs, I do have a Discord server where I have been playing kind of drop-in games of Yoseba's Bed and Breakfast right now on there. So if that's something that sounds fun to you, hop in the Discord. We're playing tomorrow night, I think, which is not a streamed game. It's just off stream. But I think that's everything that I had to talk about. So, Kylan, do you want to say goodbye to the chat and to the YouTube VOD?
Goodbye to the chat and to the YouTube VOD.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.